What up?
On the way to the gym, leg day.
So yeah, we're gonna do a topic today. Creatine and whey protein powder. Two big ones that a lot of people are like, whoa, geez man, are you taking that whey, taking that creatine, getting all that big muscle gains and stuff? And there's a little misconception to it. Whey protein is just a milk-derived amino. You know, it's protein, so protein's protein. If you're getting it from chicken, whey, anything, gram protein's gram protein. Now, if you're eating a chicken wing and it's got like, 5-10 grams of trans fat from the fry grease in there, then yeah, we're talking about a different thing here. But the gist behind it is a lot of people think if you're taking creatine, you're just gonna, two things are gonna happen. You're gonna blow up muscularly, and then you're gonna develop some serious strength.
It's not going to happen.
No.
It's natural. It's in the food you eat. Whey protein is not going to give you miracle gains that chicken won't. And vice versa. Chicken's not going to give you gains that whey won't. Half my protein intake is from whey. The other half is from eggs and fish. It's really just a protein. It's just like, it's a dairy protein. So it's just like having cottage cheese or, well, that's casein, but milk, stuff like that. It's the same thing, and which is good. I mean, you need that protein and to recover. But creatine, you have to take it over time, a long period of time, to see strength gains or anything. And don't go crazy with it. But depends on the person too. Like, some people will see a lot more water weight gain than others, but there can be some water weight gain and strength gain, but you got to take it over a period of time. It just doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, the other thing it is the most clinically studied supplement out there, outside of obviously androgenics, ergogenic substances like creatine, caffeine, they'll help you, but typical dosing protocol, like I'm sure Rob and I have discussed this in the past, like usually anywhere from 7 to 15 grams for a week, and then we taper it back off. That's if we're doing some monohydrate powder. But which I'd say, like, my diet personally isn't really heavily red meat, so I don't get a ton of natural occurring creatine in my meat. So I'm not gonna lie either, I don't really supplement creatine all that much, which will indicate to you right there that, like, honestly, you don't need the supplement. Like, the whole last prep, I'm not sitting there like making sure I'm taking my creatine on time and stuff. Like, no, that's not it at all. And as a matter of fact, leading into a show, I would restrict it just because of the water retention capabilities that it has, which is one of the things people don't get. Is they're like, oh yeah, I put on 5 pounds. It's a fad diet reversal, though. It's a reverse effect of a fad diet, if you ask me. So, like, a fad diet will take 5 pounds of water weight off. Creatine will put on 5 pounds of water weight, and I'll let Rob go into this newbie stuff, like how you could get the newbie gains with the protein and the creatine, and then they get tricked.
Oh yeah, like what I was saying, people might think, oh, I made a ton of, I gained a ton of weight, or I gained a lot of muscle taking whey protein and creatine. But if they're a beginner, what they don't realize is they started working out, they started taking the whey protein, they started taking the creatine, they started taking whatever else they were taking as well. They started taking them all at the same time. So what really is happening is the working out is what is building muscle, and they just started all this stuff at the same time, so they think it's the other things doing that. And they're like, oh yeah, I started taking this and I gained 10 pounds over the last couple months, all muscle. But what really happened is they just started working out the past couple months, and that is what helped them gain the muscle, not whatever else they were taking, whatever else they were doing. So you really don't know what's giving you what at that point. But if you've been training for years and then you never took creatine or whey protein, then you start taking it, really probably won't see anything different from whey protein unless your protein was lacking to begin with.
Yeah, no, whey protein in that sense won't. I mean,
you might see a little from creatine, but you have to take it over time.
Right.
I'm not going to actually see, like, I don't notice a difference with creatine. Very, very minuscule, and I have to take it for months to see a difference.
Right.
I just do the basic low dose, 5 grams a day.
Yeah.
You know, take it, it's clinically proven, take it for months, and you can see a little bit of strength gains depending on the person. Some people see a lot of strength with creatine, some people don't see that much, and I think it depends on your natural creatine levels. If you naturally have higher creatine, I feel like I probably do, because I don't see a lot of gains from creatine, really. So it's not really worth the money to me. I normally don't take it once in a while, but...
Yeah, honestly, like, people like us, supplementing creatine at this point is not going to show virtually, it's not going to do anything, as a matter of fact, except for pretty much make us retain water weight. We do get enough of it daily in general. You know, I like myself, I might be a little low, but throughout the week I still hit it, you know, macro-wise per daily, whatever, you know, micros I should say, and then the daily goal I'll hit. But yeah, the other thing, going into whey protein, like, I just had somebody ask me a question that was like, you know, I can't wait to see how my body changes when I start taking whey, and I'm like,
sorry to burst your bubble.
Yeah, sorry to burst your bubble, but
it's not going to change.
It's not going to change. Like, does that whey have trenbolone mixed in it? Because if it don't, that protein is protein, and you're just eating more protein from a different source, or the same amount of protein per day, but you're just changing your source. So it's not going to really do anything. What might happen is like what Robbie's saying too, but in a different sense. You might switch up that protein source, and from a placebo standpoint, it might make you work out harder just because you have switched your source. So now you're like, oh wow, whey definitely did something for me. But in reality, you just started working out harder because now you're taking the whey and you think you're going to make the gains. That could definitely happen.
That could happen.
For sure. And I mean, like, again, this is why, like, guys like us, it's just so good because, you know, I'm not trying to toot our own horn here by any means. You know, we're not. But with what we do and with the point we're at, it's like, those kind of things don't happen. They just don't. You can't train harder than the two of us. It's just not possible. Not to say other people aren't training as hard as us, but we can't just sit there and start training harder because we switch up a protein source and have that happen. So it just ain't gonna happen like that.
Another thing that could happen is if your diet is not optimal, like if you really don't, you know, consistently get protein at every meal, or are consuming low quality protein sources, and you're working out, you know, and then you start taking a good quality whey protein, you might see results, because I mean that's probably the most important supplement you can take. I don't consider it a supplement, I consider it a food. One of the most important foods you can take, or supplement, whatever you want to call it, because suboptimal diet, you know, adding that whey protein in, you could be getting just amino acids you would normally not easily digested, just good quality protein that you normally wouldn't, and you could see good results from that.
Now, as we're getting closer to the gym here, I want to address, so sounds like we've been bashing whey and creatine the whole time, but they're great supplements, quote unquote, even though all they are just naturally occurring substances.
I would never bash you. Whey protein is my number. I could not live without whey protein. I love it. It's my favorite food.
Now here's, like I said, before we conclude here, I just want to go over why whey protein is so effective. Real quick, what he hit it on first was digestibility. It is a little easier to digest to an extent, just because you're talking about like a micronized powder versus actual meat from another animal. So like digestibility will be a little bit easier on the stomach. And why is that? Is because when I was training people back, you know, way back when at a gym, I noticed a lot of people would give me the same answer as to why they skipped breakfast, and it consistently seemed to be that their stomachs would get upset in the morning. And I would always ask them, I'm like, well, do you drink coffee in the morning? And they'd say, yeah. And I'd be like, all right, well, you just told me you can drink a liquid in the morning. And I know coffee and whey protein are a completely different source, but let's try and make magic work here. So they would take the protein in the morning and boom. And then not only that, a lot of people do not meal prep. So, you know, we all know that you're gonna be scrambling in the morning for time. You ain't gonna sit there and grill a chicken breast or stay up till 11 p.m. the night before and prep your whole day's worth like Rob and I do. But the whey protein comes in so good because of time efficiency. It's literally like, boom, 2 seconds. You have 25 grams of. Why do we? So we say quality protein. Why do we say that? Because it's literally, if you look at the macro ratio, it's an isolate pretty much. So it's all protein, no carbs, no fats, and virtually no sugars. Versus like a chicken wing, that's going to be the same protein, and it might have a good amount of protein in it, but it's going to be filled with these other things that are terrible for you, that are coming out of the fryer. The last thing I like to advocate with whey protein powder, a lot of people don't know about, is you can cook with it. You can substitute it in baked goods. So you
put a scoop in your oatmeal.
Oh God, yeah.
Yep.
Or make muffins or cookies with it. You could crush it in the baking section with whey, and you could really make some good stuff. I've actually teetered on the idea of trying to make dough for a pizza with whey protein. I just don't know how that would go.
You have to use like an unflavored or something.
Yeah.
Probably work.
Now, we're about to hit up legs here as we get to the gym. I'm gonna paint a trap bar. Pretty much concludes our creatine and our show me the whey protein. Anything you want to end with and add with? Little tips and tricks. You got anything for anybody?
Yeah, like going on with the digestibility. If I plan on working out, say I need to get a meal in,
perfect.
With some protein.
That's a good one.
If I plan on working out within an hour and a half, the protein source is almost always going to be whey protein, because you eat a steak or a chicken or something. Fish is a little easier to digest, I feel like, or eggs. Now, anything like that, you need a couple hours to digest it. Eating an hour before your workout, eating a steak an hour before your workout is not optimal. It's taking that blood flow away from your muscles and putting it into your stomach to digest that. And a whey protein will be in and out of your stomach as quick as possible, easily absorbed, easily digested, and you can work out without stomach discomfort or, having your body trying to digest that food while you're trying to train hard. It's not optimal.
Here's a good trick for you guys to try, and then we're going to end on this note. Everything Robbie just said is like spot on, and to go home and take a quick science experiment for Robbie's analogy right here, take a piece of Chex Mix, put it in your mouth, and see how long it lasts. It'll be gone and mushed in about 15 to 20 seconds because of the saliva and the amylase and all that stuff that's going to break down the carbs. Put a piece of beef jerky in your mouth and see how long it takes for that meat to disintegrate. It won't. Not without mechanical chewing, because you cannot start the digestive process on protein until it hits the stomach. So therefore, everything he just said, there's no way to start breaking down protein until it hits the gut. If it's in the gut and it's got to start the process, blood flow is going to be demanded into the stomach. Bad idea. Whey protein, king. On that note, Warzone Fitness out, and we're out of here.